Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, y'all. I did not get to edit the title, but this is going to be about reparations. That's what we're talking about. And one of the probably the false equivalents that happens all the time is when other groups try to make a comparison to what our people been through. And you know what, y'all? Nothing these other groups have been through don't even compare. And they're desperately trying to make it seem like everybody's been through hard times, not like us. And that is the truth. You might have been through a few things here and there, but it don't match the hell that chattel slavery was. And as far as Irish people came over here as indentured servants and they got released after so many years and they were compensated. So that is day and night as far as I'm concerned, is no comparison. Now, folks will say, oh, well, this group went through this and this group went through that. And I really don't care. I'm talking about us. Okay. When they bring up all these other people, I really truly do not care. The bottom line is when we look at chattel slavery, the only one we see in those pictures are us. We don't see a field full of Irish and a field full of Chinese people or East Indians or anyone else. The only one we see in those photographs are us. And I don't care about them bringing up all these other groups. I really don't, because those other groups never went through chattel slavery. Those other groups were never separated from their families. Those other groups did not go through 100 damn years of Jim Crow. So I don't want to hear it. Bringing them up is, to me, is counterproductive. It means nothing. So let's get into it. It's been a while since I've done something on reparations, and that's why I thought about it. And this is definitely a topic I want to touch on again. Reparations have come up a lot over, I would say, like the past 10 years. It has really blown up in the society and even beyond. Now, one of the recent things I saw was America owes Haitians reparations. No, they don't. Y'all need to go talk to the French. Okay? They made you pay them. That's who you need to go talk to. So reparations is owed, and I think the reason why they keep trying to come up with ways to belittle us, oh, it's a handout, then it's a handout, then it must have been a handout for everybody that got reparations then. It can't be a handout for us, but not for others that you gave money to. America has given money to everybody they know they did wrong, except for us. And they know they owe us, y'all. I don't care what arguments they try to, I didn't do that, I didn't do it. Nobody told, who the hell is talking to you anyway? Our reparations is going to come to us through this government. That's why I don't understand that part either. Why do y'all keep getting in our face and talking about, I didn't do nothing, I didn't do nothing? I don't want to hear that. Nobody is talking about no damn individual. Get the hell out of here with that crap. We're talking about the US government up in here. You don't hold all the money. So who the hell are we talking to you for? I mean, get out of here with that crap. So, anyway, this government owes us because they sat idly by when chattel slavery happened. They said nothing during the lynchings. This government did not try to put a stop to it. This government did not try to stop Jim Crow when that was going on. This government did not stop over 200 mobs from burning down our towns. And every time something would happen to us, this government failed to intervene. All right. So, yes. And they created laws and put laws on the books exclusively for us only. And y'all still do it. You just don't throw black or Negro or anything like that on the law. So you think we don't know that it's just for us. Just like policing. One thing I'm real glad we did that really pulled the wool off of everybody's eyes was when we took a step back when Donald Trump won the election. And you clearly saw when people took to the streets protesting, there were no cops. So now we know your police departments were created just for us. Your canine units, and I already know about the history of the canine units. In fact, I did a video on it a while back. The canine unit was designed just for us. They don't intend to sick those dogs on everybody, y'all. They intend on sicking those dogs on us and us only. That's why every time you hear stories about people getting bit up by canines, it's always our people. Always. It's never anyone else. So we know if we take to the streets, your cops are coming out there with all of the armor and ready to try to come at us. But when anybody else, even including immigrants, step to the streets, you don't see a cop in sight. You don't see a cop nowhere, not even when the immigrants are out there. You don't see them cops. So we know you have done things exclusively to us. And that's just one of many examples. Over policing, giving everybody else a crime bill to protect them from harm, except for us who gets harmed the most in this society. So, no, you can't say it's the past when things are still happening in the present. Okay, you can't use that. And there are countless videos of our people walking and minding their business, and then some fat, ugly, out of shape, fish smelling Karen comes walking along to start something. We got tons of those videos. Y'all don't do that to all other groups. Y'all exclusively do that mainly to us. And those attacks on us, those random attacks are all planned. Y'all planned that shit out before you stepped out the door. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk reparations. You know, they are scared we're going to get it. That's why reparations come up so much now, because deep down inside, they are afraid we will get it. Even the people that sit in our face, oh, I ain't going to never get that. Y'all ain't going to never get it. Well, why are you talking about something that we're never going to get? If we're never going to get it, according to you, then why are you babbling all about it? What are you talking about something for that we're not going to get? No, you're talking about it because you know deep down inside there's a strong possibility those reparations are definitely coming. So, y'all, let's do it. Let me share my screen so we can get started. And you know what? Another thing, I don't think we need to be explaining reparations over and over and over. These folks know what they have done to us. And it is tiring because they never say nothing different. Why should we have to pay? Why should we have to pay? You weren't a slave. You weren't. They don't never say nothing different. They sound like a damn broken record. Why do I have to pay reparation? Why do I? Okay, you got to pay because your forefathers and you, in many cases, are rotten ass people. Your forefathers, your founding fathers were all rotten ass demonic people. And many of you are still those people to this very day. All right. Yeah, I think it's got to come to a point where we got to stop explaining it, but we still stay on the path of demanding it. Because you know why I like demanding it? Because it ruffles their feathers. I know the Most High is going to give everything back to us. I know that, y'all. I just like getting on their damn nerve. That's what I like doing. So let's get started. Okay. All right, y'all. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Thank you so much. Before we get started, Veronica, Addie, thank you so much for the 10 joules hiding. Ascension Watson, thank you for the 10 joules. And Lisa Gibson, thank you for the 10 joules. And PM 2290, thank you for the 350 joules. Finger heart. And thank you all for your support for my channel. Thank you.
You think reparations should just go to like one like group, or like should it target like people that are the same kind of like socioeconomic like group? Because
that's an interesting question. What do you mean by that?
Well, like there are like white people that have like been disenfranchised like recently, like
recently is the key. Recently is the key.
The country like deindustrialized, right? So like a lot of people in like manufacturing jobs and stuff, like
right. But so to your question, I think you have to understand what the word reparations means first. So reparations, you are repairing something that you have broken. You are paying for something that you were supposed to pay for. I'm not saying that there aren't people living in America today who are suffering and are going through pain and strife because of what's happening when it comes to, the machines taking jobs, factories becoming industrialized, etc. But reparations is a specific conversation about a specific time in America, and that is Black people were slaves. You know what I mean? I've even heard people say like, oh, but there were some of the Irish who were indentured. Like, yeah, slavery. Look at the numbers, look at the time, look at the level of work. You could not work toward your freedom. For most Black people in America, this was a time when you lived and died as a slave. And so that's what reparations is about. And so I hear what you're saying, but I think that's a completely separate conversation that needs to be had about the now. Because if you are not careful, what you then do is you combine everybody's suffering into the same bowl, and you make it seem like all injustices have the same weighting, and they don't. Just like crimes, theft isn't the same as murder. We don't try them the same way. And as much as there is a white person who's suffering today, I feel for anybody who's suffering, because I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to suffer. I didn't come from a wealthy family. We struggled when I was growing up, but I also understand that there are levels of that suffering. And so sometimes white people, it does block a white person, because you go white privilege, and a person goes, I'm poor and I'm white. Where's the privilege? White people are like, I wish I could activate my white privilege. I wish I could do it right now. White privilege, give me something. I get that. I get that. Trust me, I get it. It is hard to accept that you have benefits because of the color of your skin if you cannot see the benefits that you have. But the thing I try to explain to a person is, think of it more like golf. Don't think of it as privilege, then think of it like a handicap. Right? In golf, they acknowledge that you are in a position where you need so many advantages to be competitive in the game, right? So what they say is you have a handicap of 15, so that means like you're going to be hitting from this tee and you get more chances to get the ball in, because we understand the position you're in. And if you're a black person in America, from slavery, from day one, the number of injustices that have held black people back in America amount to an insurmountable, like you look at black people's freedom, you look at black people's land, just land alone. The amount of wealth you can acquire over time if you own land is exponential, because you have the land, you have the fact that you can borrow based on the land, you have the fact that you can use the money that you have borrowed to grow more wealth, you can use it to grow your family's wealth. Just taking that away from black people alone is crippling them. And so you combine that with slavery, and then you look at Jim Crow laws. You didn't let black people in America live in the areas that they wanted to live in. They couldn't get loans from the banks that they wanted to get loans from. And then on top of that, when they started getting the loans from American banks were found to be giving them higher interest rates when in fact they were the same risk as many of the other races that they were giving loans to. So when you combine all of those things, I think it's safe to say that black Americans have a conversation that they need to be having with the United States. Doesn't involve me, doesn't involve white people, it's like, yo, American government, meet the black people. That's it. Have that conversation.
Black Americans have absolutely no reason to defend America, to fight for America, to honor America until we give reparation. Now, before y'all lose your shit and start saying, I didn't have any slaves, slavery was over 100 years ago, chill the fuck out, all right? Because that's not what we're talking about. This did not end 100 years ago. Slavery was not the end of all discrimination. It was not the end of all wealth being stripped and taken from Black Americans. Reconstruction era, Jim Crow era, civil rights era, the crack epidemic, there's not a point in time where America was not putting down Black Americans, taking their wealth from them, and preventing them from building capital. I went through and listed a whole bunch of black towns that were destroyed by angry white mobs. Many of these towns were self-sufficient, and many of them had very wealthy black residents like Jack Hawley, who had like 700 acres, a granary, a general store that was taken from him and never given back. He never got any reparations for it. That is wealth and capital that could have been passed on generationally that was stopped by white America. And it wasn't just the angry racist mobs that were causing this wealth inequality. Even though that alone should qualify for reparations, there was also the redlining. There was also the U.S. highways that destroyed neighborhoods. There was gentrification that's still happening today. In a capitalist society, those who have capital will get more capital. Those who don't have capital, even what they have will be taken from them. So while white Americans got to pass on their capital, their wealth, generation after generation, Black Americans and brown Americans had to restart over and over. Have y'all not played Monopoly? Do you know what happens when one person owns all the properties? It gets a lot less fun to play for the rest of the people. Shit, when I played Monopoly, we were ready to fight each other. My siblings, we hated each other after that game. If you were winning, you were just rubbing it in everybody else's face. And the losers were always having the worst time and end up flipping the damn board over. That is literally a perfect analogy of what is happening today. Black Americans are flipping the board over. They're tired of the game because the game has never suited them. It's getting boring. So how do we give out reparations? At this point, it would be damn near impossible to do it based on race, okay? There's so much mixing, what percentage, who would get it, it would just make a whole big mess. So that's why most people immediately stop thinking about reparations. Oh, we can't even do it. That'd be too complicated. But there is a way to do it. Y'all just don't want to give reparation. You could set up reparations that are not just cash. You're not just giving out stimulus checks. You could set it up to where people in these zip codes that were redlined can get loans, interest-free loans for houses, for businesses. Reparations does not have to be cash. It could be education. It could be welfare. It could be housing to prevent people from gentrifying.
First of all, this is why I wanted y'all to really listen to him, because he's full of shit. Okay. A loan is not reparations. If I got to pay you back money, that's not reparations. Okay. You can't give us a loan because redlining happened in this area. Let's give them a loan. That means I got to pay your ass back. That ain't reparations. Okay. reparations. That's why when y'all keep talking about all this stuff about education and this and that, no, that's why it keeps getting rejected by us. To me, if you call that reparations, the only one I see benefiting in that are a bunch of white folks. Oh, we'll give you a loan wherever we did redlining. Okay, so when I pay back the loan, who's getting that payment? That's who's benefiting from my alleged reparations. That's why white people cannot be the deciding factor in how we get our reparations. This is exactly because of what this dude is saying. Okay, they have to be out of the entire thing. And we must do our talking with the government, and that's it. These other white people out here like him, they have to be 100% excluded from the conversation. A loan is not reparations. A loan is benefiting white people once again, and that's not reparations. I don't want you to give me a loan that I got to take 10 and 20 and 30 years to pay back to you. That's not a reparations. But let's go on.
These areas because of these loans, you do it based on income. This would also benefit not only Black Americans, but Mexican Americans, Native Americans, Hawaiians, even Puerto Ricans. The entire island of Puerto Rico would qualify for this. Germany gave out reparations, okay? And they apologized. They sincerely apologized for what they did. And now look at their nation. It's one of the best places to live in the world. Hands down. Your social benefits are there. You have unlimited sick days. You have paid time off. You have affordable food, affordable housing. These are all things that were made possible because they paid reparations. I would argue if they never paid reparations, they would not have as great of a society as they do, because the people changed. The hearts of the people changed. And that's what has never happened in America. And even if this whole thing flops and nobody's life gets better because of reparations, right? At least we have shown people that we are changed by heart and that we care and that we want these communities to do better. And that would actually give these people in these communities a reason to care about America, a reason to fight for freedom. Right now, they have no reason. We've never given them a reason because we've never truly apologized. We've never rectified what happened. And until that day happens, we are going to be divided in this country.
It's about our birthright and what we deserve, what we have built, what we have fought for, what we deserve in this country, what they owe us. You work a job, they don't pay you. Sue them for what? Back payment. We are suing this government for back pay for services rendered in this country, on this soil, that, might I add, is drenched in our blood. If you were not here to give the services, or if you were not here as those services were stolen from you, then you do not deserve reparations here. Go elsewhere.
When slavery ended, Washington, D.C., the federal government paid reparations to the slave owners for making them get rid of their property. But they didn't pay reparations to the enslaved people. You know, that 40 acres and a mule, that never happened. Yes, it was passed, but benefited virtually no one. So now today, fast forward, and we're going to pay $1.8 billion, or even consider paying $1.8 billion in reparations to the people who sacked the Capitol building. But while the greatest debt in history remains unpaid, and we sit there and say, well, they don't need DEI. Yeah, we've leveled the playing field. How the fuck did you level the playing field? Like, are you kidding me? Slavery was legal for over 200 years in this country. For 200 years, those slaveholders gathered the wealth created by those enslaved people and then passed that massive amount of wealth down to the white slave owners' heirs, which just grew over the generations. But we never paid reparations to the people who produced all that wealth. And then we pretend that even the word reparations is like a handout. No, it's a piece of the pie that your great-grandfather generated, but was never allowed to benefit from, was never allowed to hand down to his kid, to hand down to their kid, to their kid, to their kid.
I just want y'all to take notice how everybody think they deserve to have a voice in our reparations conversation. I even saw some Asians on here running their mouth about it, talking about, no, we shouldn't get it. I was like, you know what? That's why I'm glad we're boycotting you. That's what I thought to myself when I was listening to some Asians. I'm glad we're boycotting you. So, anyway, y'all, my thing is the whole world want to have a say in our reparations. I really can see once we fully rise to the top, these folks are going to be in tears. They are literally going to be in tears. Some will be in tears because they know what's coming for them. And others are going to be in tears because they are the ones that don't want to see us having anything. And when I say nothing, they want us to sit around and have nothing and always be at their mercy. That's what they want. Yeah, I mean, look, every group done got reparations up in here. And look at the Siberian / natives. They've gotten it multiple times. So, I just wish everybody would stay out of our conversation and stay out of our business. And if we want to talk about reparations among each other, I don't know why they got to dive in. That's the one thing I wish we would turn off. I wish we would turn these other groups off from just coming and thinking they have a say. And we need to make it very clear they have no say. None. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support. I see I got a few more in here. Do I have a few more in here? Yes. Dalmani Green Beans, thank you for the 10 jewels gold coin. Thank you so much. And Matahaya, thank you for the 2 jewels. And Sparkles, thank you so much for your support from my channel. So y'all have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. And don't forget to pick up your hair products and be on the lookout for my next live. Shalom, family.